to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today, Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your time and association.
Yeah,
we'll continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, continue with Bhagavatam.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, today we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, the cause of all causes, and today's verse is number 15. Thank you, Maharaj. I'll share my screen now.
Hare Krishna.
Please
so remember that this section is very, very philosophical and very detailed in the aspect of the Lord's position within the material world, within the creation, within the spiritual nomenclature. So it takes a little bit of a effort to really hone in on this philosophy, to really absorb it and try to understand it. It's a little deep, but with some effort, things become clearer and clearer. So this is verse number 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Paraveda Deva Narayana Gajaham Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramakaha. So this verse is similar to a verse in the 1st canto in chapter number 2. I think it's around verse number 22. Very similar. The Sanskrit is practically the same. The Vedic literatures, translation, the Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. So it starts off by saying the Vedic literature was created by the Supreme Lord, and it's meant for the glorification or the pleasure of the Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as parts of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and the different sacrifices are performed just to please him. Purport. According to the Vedic Sutras, Shastra Yonichvat, the Supreme Lord is the author of all revealed scriptures. And all revealed scriptures are knowing the Supreme Lord. Veda means knowledge that leads to the Lord. The Vedas are made just to revive the forgotten consciousness of the conditioned souls. And literature not meant for reviving God consciousness is rejected at once by the Narayan Para devotees. Such deluding books of knowledge have not having Narayan as their aim are not at all knowledge, but are the playground for crows who are interested in the rejected refuge of the world. Any book of knowledge, science, or art must lead to the knowledge of Narayan, otherwise it must be rejected. That is a way of advancement of knowledge. The supreme worshipful deity is Narayana. The demigods are recommended secondarily for worship in relationship to Narayan because the demigods are assisting hands in the management of the universal affairs. So here we see what is the role of the demigods. They assist the Lord in managing the universal affairs. As the officers of a kingdom are respected due to their relationship with the king, the demigods are worshipped due to their relationship to the Lord. Without the Lord's relation, worship of the demigods is unauthorized, avidipurvakam. Just as it is improper to water the leaves and branches of a tree without watering its root. Therefore, the demigods are also dependent on Narayan. The lokas, or the different planets, are attractive because they have different varieties of life, and bliss partially representing the Satchidananda Vigraha. Everyone wants the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. In the material world, such an eternal life of bliss and knowledge is progressively realized in the upper planets, but after researching there, one is inclined to achieve further progress along the path back to Godhead. So that's an interesting statement. Higher you go in the material realms, knowledge and bliss increases. Duration of life with the proportion quantity of bliss and knowledge may be increased from one planet to another. One can increase the duration of life to thousands and hundreds and thousands of years in different planets, but nowhere is there eternal life. But one can reach the highest planet, that of Brahma, can aspire to reach the planets in the spiritual sky where life is eternal. Therefore, the progressive journey from one planet to another culminates in reaching the supreme planet of the Lord, Madhama, where life is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. All different kinds of sacrifices are performed just to satisfy Lord Narayan with a view to reach him. And the best sacrifice recommended in the age of Kali is Sankirtan Yajna, the mainstay of the devotional service of the Narayan Pada devotees. Omigyantimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarne Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Evacha Ditanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, this verse is giving some really instructive information on how things evolve within the gradation of evolution of the consciousness of the conditioned souls, and how through the collective karma of pious activities, one qualifies themselves life after life to take birth in higher material positions, going into the realm of the demigods, and even beyond that, where the higher planets of Maharloka, Janaloka, and what else? Of course, Satyaloka, Brahma's planet. So many higher. And this is all due to excellent material, in other words, those who are expert at performing sacrifices and giving in charity and doing welfare work for the entire world. They build up this accumulated good karma, and at the end of life it cashes in and they get a higher birth like that. But it's still within the modes of material nature. And therefore, this particular explanation is not really for the devotees. The devotees want to go wherever they are directly back to the spiritual world without going through the what we say, the evolutionary cycle of karma and coming to perfection and then reaching perfection in karma and then ultimately coming to the spiritual realm, which is the stepping stone from Brahmaloka. But we can see how karma works. Here it is mentioned also that the Lord is the author of the Vedas. Vedasya chaham aham eva vedo, Vedanta krid veda vedeva chaham. Krishna confirms that in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, where he says, I am the author of the Vedas. I am the knower of the Vedas. Obviously, if he's the author, he's also the knower. And he also says the Vedas are meant to know me. So the Veda means knowledge. that knowledge, which is given, which is called a paurushad. A paurushad means something that is coming from perfection, or nothing, something that is not part of imperfection, which means something that's not part of the three modes of material nature. So that knowledge, Veda also, it describes itself in terms of how it is understood, is called Shruti, through the process of hearing. The idea of books is a phenomenal quality, or I might say a recent quality, of the particular age we live in. Before 5,000 years ago, that means millions and millions of years back, knowledge was transferred from realized soul to students who also became realized and then also became transferables to their followers also. So knowledge was given through oral reception. Just like we hear about Brahma, Brahma received the knowledge directly from Krishna. There was no books for him to read. Tani Brahma Ida Adikabaya, he got the knowledge directly within the heart. So nowadays, because of our memory is short, due to the effects of Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Matyo Mandi Bhaga Padutaha, one of the qualities, or one of the characteristics of the age of Kali is deficient memory. There are many built-in deficiencies. Longevity of life is shortened, memory is shortened, mercifulness is shortened, bodily strength is shortened, intelligence also obviously is shortened. So this is the quality of this age. But one can rise above all of these inebrities, which are the qualities of Kali Yuga, through being fixed on the platform of devotional service. Because one can transcend these things. Because devotional service is outside of the three modes of material nature. It is transcendental. It is above the material. And so devotees can somehow or other counteract the effects of Kali Yuga simply by the power of their worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so that is actually the success of the devotees, to not to acquiesce or to take any lesser form of worship other than devotional service. So what is devotional service? That's another thing. Abhyabhya Sita Sunya Jnana Kamaranavitam Anukulena Krishna Silanam Bhakti Uttamam. If one is performing activities to get some material result to benefit oneself, that is not devotional service. That's contrary to devotional service. One has to be free from personal motivation. One has to be motivated to please Krishna, or to engage in the activities which will propagate the principles of transcendental knowledge, and not simply take part in activities to fortify one's own happiness on a material level. Some personal gain, some personal something on a personal level. One should be free from that. And also, the tendency is, and we see this a lot, people like to speculate on what does the Shastras mean and give some conclusion that is based on their own speculation. Sometimes the speculation is actually very nicely done. It's organized and it comes to some nice conclusions. But Rupa Goswami, who gives the definition of pure devotional service, says one should be free from philosophical speculations on the absolute truth and try to understand knowledge coming from the source of knowledge, the Supreme Lord himself, who gives that knowledge to Brahma. Brahma gives it to Narada, Narada gives it to Vyas, and Vyas gives it to us in the form of the Vedic literatures. So that's how we receive this knowledge. And it's perfect because it's coming by what is called disciplic succession, an unbroken chain of masters that reach back to the source, which is Krishna himself. Yeah. So this verse and purport tries to give us a clear understanding that everything is connected to Krishna. Sacrifices, the activities of the demigods, the literature that we come in contact with, it's all about understanding Krishna and engaging in devotional service to Krishna. It's not service. We don't say service to Krishna. We say devotional service. That means it has to be done with a desire to please the Lord. So one can cultivate that mood of pleasing the Lord by carefully following the instructions that is given by the Acharya, especially Srila Prabhupada, and of course one's own personal spiritual master, and adopt those principles in the execution of our devotional service. And then we actually enter into the mood of pure devotional service. Although we may not be pure, still we can execute pure devotional service simply by following the pure principles. So purity can also be there if we adopt the pure principles as given by the pure devotees and ultimately by the Lord himself. And then, like the demigods here, what is their role? Their role is simply to assist the Lord, that's all. They may have some desire, and they do, to be demigods. They may somehow want to facilitate their service to the Lord in that position as being his universal controller, or someone in connection with the universal controller. So there's demigods, there's semi-gods, there's different levels of demigods. There's 3 different categories of demigods, actually. And that's mentioned in the Bhagavatam in the 3rd canto. So some of them are more directly involved with the universal affairs, others are less, and some are not at all. But all of them have some connection with Krishna in carrying out his will in the material world like that. And that's basically their service. And they're also reaping the results of their pious activities by being in an atmosphere that is somewhat free from many of the inebrities and sufferings that are experienced by the conditioned souls on this level, on the level we are, which is the middle planetary systems. So they also get a higher form of material enjoyment. And then they also become a little attached to that. You can see Indra sometimes when he sees someone performing great austerities, just like when he saw Vishwamitra Muni was performing great austerities, he felt threatened because one who performs great austerities can achieve different positions in higher and higher levels of the universal creation. So Indra was worried that his position was going to be, removed for him. So he sent one society girl. Her name was, what was her name? Sukuntala. Manika, I'm sorry. Manika, thank you. Manika. And she caused him to fall down. And the result was there was a childbirth. There was a girl called Sakuntala was born. And then he got back up, realized how he had been, charmed by the opposite sex. And he became even more determined not to. And he again started performing austerities. And then Indra sent another society girl named Ramba. And this time, Vishwamitra Muni waxed anger. Now, anger is a type of aversion. So if something is trying to attract you, and rather than becoming attracted, you become angry at that object, that is also attraction on the reverse side. So attraction and aversion are just two sides of the same coin. They're different forms of attraction. And so he used anger, and when he did, he also, again, fell down from his austerities. But for a devotee is fixed in Krishna consciousness. A devotee is not attracted by the external environment. And even if they are, and then they realize it, they get back up, and then they can pick up where they left off in devotional service, and again attain that same position. So, but that's concessionary. It's not something that one should adopt. Oh, let me become a little lax in my Krishna consciousness, or let me enjoy some material activities, and then I'll jump back and become more serious after some time. That's dangerous. And many times Krishna won't allow you, if it's done consciously. If it's done unconsciously, just like in the case of Vishwamitra Muni, of course he wasn't in devotional service, but the point is that performing activities in devotional service, one can accidentally slip due to the power of Maya, or being a little inattentive. That's how devotees slip. They become inattentive in the execution of their devotional service, and then Maya comes in and attracts their attention. And then pretty soon they find themselves, acting and thinking in the wrong way, or in a material way. So therefore, devotional service is transcendental. But here, after describing all of the levels of practice of the Krishna consciousness, or material, I'm sorry, not Krishna consciousness, material evolution, Prabhupada ends the purport. What does he say? Harinam Sankirtan. Gets right to the essence. So one who takes shelter, go down to the end of the purport there, and let's see how Prabhupada says it. He says, and the best sacrifice recommended in this age, it's not only the best, it's the one that's recommended in Kali Yuga, is Sankirtan Yagya. And he calls it the mainstay of devotional service of a Narayana Para, of those devotees who actually understand what is their best interest. So one who takes the Sankirtan Yagya can push back all of the effects of Kali Yuga very easily, not just, with effort. It becomes easy. So take part in this Harinam Sankirtan as much as possible, and that's purifying, and it's also a very joyful process. This is Lord Chaitanya's exclusive and special mercy in this age. And all of these other activities that one can perform to raise themselves from one material position to a higher position is seen as simply a waste of time. One can go right to the essence and bypass all of these situations and go right to the spiritual essence. Harinam Sankirtan. Golokira Premadana Harinam Sankirtan Ratin Janmi Lokena Upai. It's direct. And it is, as it's explained, Susukam Kartam Avyayam. It's joyful. So one who performs Harinam Sankirtan, sometimes when we are performing Harinam Sankirtan, we're not feeling the joy. That's because we've been out of it for a while. When you stay in it, it becomes sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. But if you jump in and out, you'll find every time you try to go back in, it's like learning how to swim again. So stay in it, don't get out of it. Because the more you perform it, the more it works in such a way as to purify the consciousness fast. It's the fast track. And that's Lord Chaitanya's special mercy. Okay, so these are some principles we can think of. It's an interesting verse here. It's quite diverse in speaking about different angles of vision. But the essence is everything is meant for the pleasure of the Lord. That's the main point of this verse. the demigods, sacrifices, transcendental knowledge. Everything is meant to awaken one's attraction for Krishna and also at the same time please the Lord by performing those activities given directly in the mood of devotion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Such a wonderful class explaining about the position of the Lord and Vedas and also about devotional service. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. Please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you.
Everyone, Rasa Vilas, come on, turn on your camera. Garangi. Oh, you did it. Okay, Garangi's there. Okay. Rasa Vilas, yeah. Let's see. Who else can do it? Dheeraj, he can do it. I know he can. Rishab, he's out there working. He's trying to sell books. That's pretty. So, Revati, you can do it. Shringalila. Okay, wow. Now I know I'm talking to, instead of names, people.
Thank you, everyone. So, Maharaj, while others are thinking, so when we are talking about pure principles given by pure devotees, sometimes with our conditioned nature, so we speculate and instead of following the pure principles, we put our own minds in there.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Yeah, how to avoid that, Maharaj? Because remembering those things is sometimes difficult. We more care about the details instead of the principles. So we just carried away with some things. Forget.
Well, we have to be conscious of our activities and our speech, and choose the words in our activities very carefully.
Mm.
It's not that we just rush into everything and say whatever comes to our mind. We should be very thoughtful. And devotee is monishina, thoughtful. Thoughtfulness is part of the practice of it's one of the austerities of the mind. To not let the mind control you, but you can control the mind.
Mm.
But our conditioned nature will appear. And if you're very thoughtful in the execution of your service, you'll be able to recognize, oh, here's something that is not in line with what I'm trying to serve, how I'm trying to do it. But we are creatures of habit, so we have to readjust our way of activity by slowing down and becoming more thoughtful in the execution of whatever we do. Choose your words, choose how you're going to perform the activities. And the easiest and best way and most successful way is to always remember Krishna. If you always remember Krishna, Krishna will give you the intelligence to execute whatever you're trying to do in a devotional way. He will. But if you forget Krishna, then you have to depend on your, we say, develop intelligence to understand things.
So by remembering Krishna all the time, we'll be able
That's
to.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really easy. That's easy.
Mm.
You don't have to remember anything. In this world, people have to remember so many things. If you just remember Krishna, you'll remember everything else that you need to do and how to do it also.
Great. Yes, Maharaj.
I mean, you have to seriously remember Krishna. That means regularly practice remembering Krishna.
Mm.
Rasavila, yeah.
Are you able to unmute? Okay, she is messaging in the chat, Maharaj. If the demigods are engaged in Krishna's service and are following his instructions, then why don't they become devotees?
If the demigods are
Engaged in Krishna's service and are following his instructions, then why don't they become devotees?
they are devotees, but they're Sakama devotees. Not all of they're on there's so many different kinds of demigods, so many levels of demigods also. But the principal demigods, like Brahma, Narada, Shiva, Indra, Vayu, Chandra, they're all devotees. Brihaspati, the Sadyas, the Vishwadikas. So many types of demigods. And they're devotees, but they're Sakama devotees. That means they have a desire to become a demigod. But they serve the Lord from the position that they achieve. Their service is to the Lord, but they have this desire. So when Indra sees someone trying to take his position, he becomes a little concerned. He
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Does that help?
Yeah, she said thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
So, Maharaj, if in the purport it is said that we'll have the bliss and knowledge and we'll go to the higher planets, then we'll be inclined to go to the next level or the spiritual realm. So, is that
This is the karmic evolution. That's all it
yeah,
is.
okay.
Yeah, that's not for devotees.
Okay. But, for suppose if we end up in those higher planets, do we remember our devotional service and go back to Godhead eventually, Maharaj?
Well, Suchinam Simbatam Gehe Yoga Brastit Vajayate. Wherever devotional service you perform, and then in whatever life you're born into after that, you start where you left off. In other words, if you become 50% Krishna conscious in your previous lives, and then you start at 50%. So the Lord will arrange for you again to pick up where you left off by putting you in a situation, meeting a devotee, getting a book, or somehow something will happen to again inspire your devotional service. So most of us have done some devotional service in last lives. Some of us have come by way of Lord Chaitanya's special mercy. People come from different levels or different types of karmic collections in previous lives. And some just come because they're fortunate and they're curious about spiritual life, and then they take it up. But it doesn't matter what you did in the previous life. Now is what counts.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj. So without getting deviated into other parts of these transcendental literature of things or impersonalism or Mayavadis, if we come into directly into the devotional service of our Krishna consciousness, so then we feel that we are fortunate that we did something in our previous lives. And
Yeah, generally. But Prabhupada is a representative of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And Bodhasuke Kabugai, Sura Beche Kunda Vet, what is it? Sura Bikundeche Amera Kuleche Koda Nitaya. Lord Nityananda, in the form of the spiritual master, is traveling all over the world, trying to pick up the fallen conditioned souls, traveling from place to place. So anyone who is a little bit interested he directs his mercies towards that person. And if that person is fortunate, they accept that mercy and then they engage in devotional service. So in this age, there's extra special mercy coming from Gaur Nitai. And that's most of us. We've come by the mercy of Gaur Nitai. When Prabhupada was asked the question, Srila Prabhupada says that before one can perform devotional service, they have to have pious credits. But we can see from our own life, we have no pious credits. So how is it we came to you? Prabhupada said, I created your pious credits. When the spiritual master sees a glimmer, a little spark of interest, he tries to fan that.
Yes.
Jagai and Madai were perfect examples where they had no pious credits, but they received the mercy of Lord Nityananda and became devotees. So, and, you know, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says the Jagais and Madais are becoming Vaishnavas. Well, I could read you something. Would you like to hear something? I just got it today. It's really amazing. It's long, but I'll read just part of it. Let's see, where is it here? Okay. Mhm. Mhm. We're getting there. Okay, there we go. Predictions of Srila Prabhupada, the Yuga Acharya. The Malechas who are born from mixed countries ruled by descendants of Kishapa, that is the demons, and the Sudras will become Brahmins by initiation. They will wear Sikas and Brahmin threads and will become well versed in uncontaminated fruit of the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam. They will worship me by the yoga prescribed by the Lord of Lords, the protector of Sachi Devi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's from Bhavishya Purana. Let's see here. Taking the sharp sword of the congregational chanting of the holy name, I will root out and destroy demonic vitality in the hearts of the conditioned souls. If some sinful people escape in giving up religious principles to go off to far off countries, then my commander-in-chief, Sanapati Bhakta, Srila Prabhupada, will appear to chase them and distribute Krishna consciousness. That's from Chaitanya Magalam, Sutta Kanda. In every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. That's from Chaitanya Bhagavat. There will come a race which will tread the earth with raised hands and vertical tilak on their foreheads, who will chant the names of Hari. This will destroy the influence of Kali. The real knowledge of the difference between the Jiva and Sri Hari and the service of Sri Hari will spread all over the world. Predictions by Ramanujacharya. The pure devotion of Sri Hari, devoid of karma and gyan, will grow and grow like a banyan tree, covering the whole world, teaching everyone who takes shelter. Victory, victory, victory. I behold something wonderful. All the inauspiciousness of the living entities destroyed. No one is going to hell. Yamaraj has no more work to do, and the effects of Kali Yuga cease to exist. This is because over the world an increasing number of Lord Vishnu's devotees sing his names while dancing and playing musical instruments. Now, this is all from Shastra.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. There's more. I just read about 1/3 of what I was received.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
So that's us.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Srimati. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm still mulling over the fact that devotees, not devotees, but living entities who engage in pious activities go to higher and higher planets, and some of them even become demigods. So if the progression is higher and higher, why do we sometimes say higher and lower, like from Brahma down to an ant? How is it that the demigods can fall down and again come down so low if they are, progressively engaging in more and more pious activities? How is it that they can again fall down so much?
It's not the demigods that fall down. It's the Gyanis and the Mayavadis. Demigods are devotees. They don't deviate. The Gyanis can raise themselves to higher realms of spiritual attainment, but they can't stay there because they don't engage in devotional service. Therefore, when their pious credits and all of the benefits of their spiritual activities are exhausted, then they come back down. That's the Gyanis, the yogis, some of the yogis, mostly Gyanis, and Mayavadis, personalists. That's what it refers to. The demigods, no, that doesn't refer to the demigods. Demigods, some of them voluntarily come into this movement to take part in the Sankirtan movement. But that's based on their own desire to become part of Lord Chaitanya's movement. That's
So
different.
that means even the demigods, which you mentioned in the class, there are 3 different levels. So they also keep rising to higher and more elevated planets until they come to devotional service. Correct?
They can also go down. As long as you're in the material world, you are not safe. Brahmana Bhuvana Loka Purna Virta Arjuna, from the highest planet to the material world to the lowest, all are places of birth and death. So, yeah, even great soul, even demigods can commit sinful activities. And then cause themselves to drop down because of that.
So they can fall down to the lower planets.
Yeah, as long as you're in the material world, you can fall down.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Rishabh Prabhu, please go ahead. Thank you, Mataji.
Vaishnavas. Maharaj, when I hear all of these amazing texts about Harinam Sankirtan, big parties, chanting the holy name with big drums, noise, tilaks, raised hands, dancing and chanting, I mean, I'm just jubilant just to think of it. And the effect, especially done in a really proper, joyful way, I just see such a big impression in the people's minds, just passing by and getting some prasadam. It just sounds like a perfect formula. But then we say that that we have Brihad Vridanga, which means like giving knowledge in the form of books. So do you have any comments of it? It sounds like a different tactics. One is just trying to, impress their senses and give them big impression if it's done really, really powerfully on the spot in Harinam Sankirtan, and the other one is seems like aiming at the intelligence and trying to invoke their thoughtfulness.
It's not different. They're both the same. One is giving you the experience, the other one is giving you the knowledge about the experience, which leads to the experience.
So then both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, because of course, it's not required to have transcendental knowledge, but in Kali Yuga, it's needed because people are fallen. But generally, if one simply has faith in the holy name and the Harinam Sankirtan, they can go back home simply by doing it. I know there's one group of devotees, basically they're out of the UK. They don't connect with any temple. They travel all around the UK and they do programs in different venues. They have a whole present. And they're always doing Harinam all the time, every day, 7 days a week. And they put on a little performance also to attract people to a more of a dramatic expression of bhakti. But their whole program is Harinam Sankirtan. That's all they do. Giridhari's group, I don't know what the name of their group is. I forgot the name. Giridhari is the leader. And there are many devotees who, I'm sure you know a few of them. That's all they do, 24/7. Then you got Harinam Ruchi. They travel all over the world doing Harinam every day, place to place. Prabhupada wanted that. He wanted a Sankirtan army to go make it their service 24/7 to go just spread the holy name everywhere. So at least I know two groups that are doing. One does it in the UK and the other one does it everywhere. So that's what we want. Harinam Ruchi is famous. You'll see him in Mayapur, you'll see him in Slovenia, you'll see him in Italy, you'll see him in America. That's all they do.
Maharaj, sometimes they say that reading the books gives you purity, or purity comes from somewhere else to chant the holy name.
You mean purifying the soul or pure in action?
I guess like in chanting the holy name purely, that reading helps in coming to that stage.
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. Pure chanting means purification. Chanting will keep you connected. You can chant without getting purified if you're chanting with offense.
Hmm.
You won't get purified, but you'll at least push back the miseries of material nature. That's the simple benefit that one gets by chanting at any time. They get free from material suffering. But that's not the goal of chanting. The goal of chanting is to awaken one's love for Krishna.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank
Okay.
Sakshi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna to all the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, during certain services, let's say book distribution service, so I have experienced and observed that the mode of passion is quite prominent. So, and even during like chanting and hearing lectures, when the mode of passion is prominent, then it is difficult to focus. So can you suggest something to, how do we switch on to the, like, how do we address we are in the mode of passion, and how do we switch on to the mode, and how do we remain in goodness always so that we get whatever we are receiving?
Well, sometimes devotees notice how the modes are working on the conditioned souls. Yeah, we notice that. We can see it. If you observe the environment, you can see what mode is mostly prominent. So what can you do? All you can do is become insulated from that, protected from that by remembering Krishna and staying fixed in your service. The stronger we are, the less affected we are. Become strong. If you have to deal with it, do your best. That's all. But if you get disturbed by other people's Maya, then how can you help them?
Thank you.
Nobody's gonna do it for you. You have to do it. But if you think everything has to be nice and then I can be happy in Krishna consciousness, then you're an illusion. Don't worry about being happy. Forget that. Forget that 100%. Just do your service. That's all. Happiness will come automatically. You don't have to think, oh, I'm not happy or I'm being this. Yeah, just do your service. That's all.
Thank you, Maharaj. And how do we remain in like how do we practice to remain in the mode of goodness? If you can share something on that.
By engaging in devotional service. We develop what is those qualities of goodness: humility, tolerance, pridelessness, simplicity, cleanliness, truthfulness, dhira, detachment from happiness and distress, knowing the Shastras, following the religious principles. These are all qualities of the mode of goodness. Foremost is humility. Humility simply means to depend on Krishna in every situation and not on your own. You make your effort, use your intelligence on how to do things, but humility is the consciousness that even with all of my efforts and my arrangements, it's Krishna's mercy that's going to make everything become successful. You can't control the external environment. All you can do is control your own mind and senses.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Sridevi Mataji, I'll take Aarti Mataji's question before. Okay, Aarti Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to you, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I don't understand. Please explain who are Mayavadis. And
well, you should listen to Prabhupada. He talks about it all the time.
yes,
Mayavadis thinks everything material is Maya. Anything of this world is Maya. But when Krishna comes to this material world, they say, well, he takes on a material body, so that's also Maya. The deity is simply a representation of God, but is not God itself. And that the deity is also made from the external energy, therefore it's also Maya. So all the forms, all the names, everything in the material world is known as Maya or illusion. So they worship the impersonal Brahman through the process of austerities and cultivation of transcendental knowledge of the difference between matter and spirit. That's all. The Mayavadis are basically non-devotees. They're offenders to the Lord. Lord Chaitanya said, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi. They offend the Lord by saying, well, he has no arms, he has no legs, he has no, eyes. So through the negation, they make Krishna nullified. And so they're atheists. They don't believe in the form of the Lord. Lord Shiva started propagating Mayavadi philosophy and Sankaracharya, but he exposed them at the same time. Although he was propagating Mayavadi philosophy in the disguise of a demigod, no, he was in the disguise of a Mayavadi. He was Lord Shiva himself. Still, he made certain statements to show the Mayavadis are just, offenders.
So,
If we don't hear from Srila Prabhupada, we will never understand anything. You have to listen to Prabhupada, read his books. He speaks a lot about the different types of spiritualists.
okay, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. There
If
is
you
one.
can't read the books, just at least listen to the lectures.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I listen, but still I wanted to be very clear. So I asked you the same question.
Yeah, Prabhupada, I just listening to Prabhupada today, he was saying Maya Body says everything is Maya. Krishna's Maya, deity's Maya, everything's Maya. Anything you can visibly see or experience in this world is product of the illusionary energy, therefore it's all Maya. Mayavadi.
So I can conclude, Gurudev, that I am also Mayavadi?
You may be. I don't know. Prabhupada said we were all Mayavadis before we came to Krishna consciousness. But I'm not saying you are. We can be just innocently ignorant in an innocent way, but then there's those who propagate the wrong idea, and therefore they're ignorant, and therefore they're causing trouble by their own wrong understanding.
Thank you
I
so
mean,
much.
Prabhupada's pranam mantra, nirvishesha sunyavari paschatya de sutarine, talks about him destroying Mayavadiism and impersonalism. That's his mantra. He came to show that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person. He has a transcendental form which is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He may manifest himself in this world in different ways, but he still maintains his spiritual body. His body and him are non-different. There's no difference between his outside and his inside. It's all spiritual. His abode is spiritual. His activities are spiritual. His name is spiritual. They worship the Brahman, or the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth, which is the preliminary understanding of transcendental nomenclature. That everything is one with the absolute truth.
Thank you so much, Gurudev.
And they
And
say the living entity is also God, but he's forgotten he's God. So they take the knowledge that's soham. The statement is soham, I am that. But our understanding of a soham is I am part of that, I am not that. They say that all living entities are the supreme because all living entities are spiritual. but they don't know that there's a supreme spirit, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. He's maintaining all of the other spirituals. He is the source of everything spiritual. So they say when you get self-realization, then you realize you're the supreme, you're Narayan. They address each other, Om Namo Narayan. But we've defeated them each time, and they run away every time we defeat them. But you have to know the philosophy in order to defeat them, because they're very expert at speaking according to Shastra, but they twist the Shastra to make it they give it their own meaning.
Thank you so much, Gurudev. And
Yeah.
there is also one question. What service pleases the Lord most?
Well, all services are absolute. What pleases the Lord most is devotion. So whatever service you do it with devotion. Do it with the desire to please the Lord. But then again, sometimes we say those who preach Krishna consciousness are recognized by the Lord. So, because the Lord comes personally to spread the glories of his holy name everywhere. And so anyone who assists him in that by doing the same thing gets special mercy from the Lord. But that doesn't mean one service is better than another. It's just like in the family, the father loves all the children equally, but some children follow the father more and some less, but the love is equal. The father's not partial, but he reciprocates according to how the children approach him, how they worship him, how they obey his instructions, how they learn his instructions and carry it out in their own life. They become, what we say, very dear to the Father because they're following. Others are still dear to the Father because the Father loves all of the sons and daughters equally, but because they don't listen or don't follow exactly, they don't get the same mercy as those who are following. So in the same way, any service you do is fine if you do it with devotion.
Thank you
But
so much, Gurudev.
yeah, but if you can preach, that would be nice.
I don't know how to preach, Gurudev. I just copy whatever lines you said. I remember and I copy to my sister and to my relatives and to my friends.
Good.
And some ran away and some listen.
Good. Some are listening. That's good.
And can I ask one more question, Gurudev?
Yeah, I guess because we don't see you so often, so catching up on lost time.
Thank you so much, Gurudev. Gurudev, is it nice to keep pets and name them like Nitai, Nimai? Is it good?
I wouldn't do that.
My sister Gurudev, she's like she's just coming to Krishna consciousness, and because her husband is not very supportive, so she want to chant all time, every time. So she asked me that there are some stray dogs who always stay at her home. They don't go anywhere. So she wanted to call them by the name like Hari Bol, and she asked me, can I call them Nitai so that I can chant all time?
You can call him Hari Bol. That's okay.
Okay, Gurudev, I'll tell her this.
If you say Hari Bol, you're telling them to chant the holy name. But don't call your dog Nitai. I wouldn't do that. Or Garanga. or Radharani.
Yeah, I will tell her, Gurudev. And she sings for them all time.
Yeah, she can call it Hari. You name the dog Hari.
Okay, Gurudev, I will tell her this. Thank you so much, Gurudev.
Thank
But,
you.
you know, but you might start developing the mentality that, you know, that because the name really indicates something. Best to call him like, you know, call him Prashadam.
Yes, Gurudev, I will
Call him
suggest
you can call him Jeev Jago.
Jeev Chago. Yes, Gurudev, that's pretty cool name. I will suggest her these all names.
Yeah.
In this way, she can chant and she can sing for them Mahamantra.
But not the direct surnames of the Lord. I mean, the direct formal names of the Lord. I wouldn't do that.
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you so much, Gurudev. You asked me to read the book, The Nectar of Devotion. I didn't get time, but she read the book. The whole book she read.
Good. Sounds like she's really serious. That's nice.
Yes, Gurudev. Whatever you ask me to do, I tell her and she do, but I'm not able to do anything. But she do everything. She read and she chant.
Yeah, if she goes to call a dog from outside, Prashadam, and then all the people will come. Then she can feed.
Yes, Gurudev. I will suggest her that you said this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gurudev, for your
You can also call the dog Maha.
Maha. Lots of name, Gurudev. It's a beautiful name. I will tell her today that you can do this.
Or Das, and that's another one. We call him. We had a cat. We named him Das. Das. Das means servant. That's nice.
Yes, Gurudev.
Okay. Enough for naming dogs. Okay.
Thank you so much, Gurudev.
Sridevi.
Yeah, Sridevi Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj, hearing all this encouragement of different services, one gets very enthused. Like when you said, do like this, do like that, one feels, oh yeah, I also want to do this. I also want to do that. But then one must focus on the instructions of the spiritual master and make that foremost in our activities. You've already given me those instructions. You have told me to do classes, increase online preaching, etc., etc. But somehow I'm not able to focus all my energies on that instruction. I'm still swayed by, oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do. Why is the mind not willing to accept and then do what the spiritual master wants?
Oh, maybe you still like those other things. Put aside your likings and follow, and you'll be happy.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Mukhan karoti vachalam pangu lagate girim. Yat kripa tanaham bande shiguru dinatarinam.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
My obeisance.
Thank you, Maharaj. Balakrishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. All glories to Vaishnavas everywhere. Guru Maharaj, there is one unpolluted channel on YouTube. It cannot be polluted because it's just, it's called Vanipedia Mayapur, and it is just a compilation of anything that Prabhupada has, Acharya Prabhupada has ever said. So I was listening to one of the clips there, and it mentioned Prabhupada talking about, we were discussing Maya, and it talks about, he said, Maya is not your enemy. Maya is a screener. She is simply screening you to make sure you don't waste Krishna's time. Could you talk about that, Maharaj?
Yeah, Krishna doesn't want to be bothered by nonsense people, so he has a screening process. Prabhupada was talking about that today. I was listening. Prabhupada said, Maya will push away those who come to Krishna consciousness just simply to give trouble to Krishna.
Right.
So yeah, it's always good to have some bodyguards.
He employs a lot of people, Maharaj.
Krishna, he's got a lot to do, so he puts that service in the hands of his external energy. So yeah, she's a screening process to see who's qualified and who's not. Yeah. Okay. So don't get screened.
Yeah. I'm screened well.
The idea is to follow. When Maya sees that you're following, she just offers her blessing.
Wonderful, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, people, I was just listening today, really interesting. Prabhupada's quoting one verse from Bhagavatam. People think, I have to put so much time and energy into my material life. Prabhupada said, if you simply engage in devotional service, then automatically all your material life will also become successful.
Yeah.
He said, why waste time? He quoted that verse, Tasyaito rabite na kovito, na labyate tad pramata uparyada, na labyate dukana anya sukham, kalena sarvatra gambira ramhasa. Two parts of the verse. Those who are actually philosophically inclined do not aspire for any position anywhere from the highest planet in the material realm down to the lowest. And as far as happiness comes, happiness will automatically come in due course of time, just like misery comes because no one asks for misery, but it comes. But Prabhupada's saying, you'll get your happiness and you'll get your misery. You can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you engage in devotional service, then you can purify your whole life and even your material activities, your occupation, whatever else you're doing, your family responsibilities, will become successful, he said.
Yeah.
But we waste time so much trying to build our material life, and we don't have time for Krishna. It's just like going to your nose by going around your head. You just engage in devotional service, and everything will fall in place in your material life automatically. We don't believe Krishna will do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. And then you'll know what to do materially and what not to do. But if you're focused on Krishna, you'll have your material life becomes so easy and natural. I'm just here with this one gentleman. I just met him today. I just moved to another location. I'm in Mumbai now. And he's doing full-time devotional service, but he has a family with 2 children and a big position in the material world. And he's happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's happy.
Yeah.
He said, I have to go from my job today. And then he said to me, well, if you don't want me to go, I'll stay here because if you need me to do anything. I said, no, you can go if you want. He said, that's okay. I don't really have to go.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So he's inclined to devotional service, but he still does his responsibilities on the outside world.
Mhm.
But if you put two things in front of him, he'll choose direct devotional service.
Yes, Maharaj.
So then how does he get work done at the office, Guru Maharaj?
You ask him. When you're a devotee, it's called expanded awareness. Devotees, sometimes they get jobs, and what happens is their employers get really nervous because they see the devotees are more intelligent than they are. And they think, well, they're going to take my position, so I better get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's a fact that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Devotees can do material things also,
Yeah.
expertly, even better than materialists.
Yeah. Maharaj, something just struck me as you were talking, because I'm only in Krishna consciousness for about a year and a half. But even before that, I think there are qualities that devotees possess. Maybe my boss used to call me Zen master. Like, he would give me, everybody will be stressing, and I would not. So it's like maybe there's a quality of a devotee.
He calls you Zen master for what reason?
If there is panic, I would not panic. Like,
I see.
and there'll be something fire this particular issue, and I would be unflappable. I'm like, if there's an issue, we'll solve it. If you can solve it, we can solve it. If you cannot solve it, we cannot. Whatever.
Yeah, that's the quality of a Vaishnava.
Vaishnava, right?
Tries to solve it, but doesn't worry if it doesn't get solved. The world doesn't stop there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like their understanding. It's a wrong moniker. It's just too much credit to Zen master, but the quality was there.
Yeah, good. But now he should call you. What should he call you now? Tell him to call you Dear Krishna.
Hanuman.
Dear Krishna.
There you go. Dira. I have a long way to go, Maharaj. I'm a neophyte. The bottom adhikari. I don't know what they are called. Bottom adhikaris.
Bharamadhikaris are called. I don't think so. Neophyte means one who likes to fight.
Oh. Yeah.
In other words, they're always arguing with everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, do we have time to take one more question? Sakshi Mataji raised her.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Sachi.
Please go ahead.
Sakshi.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Not Sachi.
Maharaj,
Sakshi. Shakshi. Shakshi means direct, right?
yes, it means
Essence, right?
evidence.
Sakshi
Witness.
witness, no? Like
Evidence.
Sakshi
Sakshi Gopal, witness. Yeah.
Witness. Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm sorry. Witness. Very-
So Maharaj, I have a follow-up question. What you were saying, that material happiness and material distress, they are destined, and so I just want to know then what role one has with the effort, like how much effort do we need to make?
Don't worry about it. If you become a devotee, your material happiness and distress are nullified gradually.
Mhm.
This is for those in the material world. They're always trying to adjust their material situation to improve it, but they can't. It's not possible. They can't change their situation one iota. If they're destined to get so much happiness, they'll get it. If they're destined to get so much suffering, they'll get it. But for a devotee, he doesn't take part in material activities. Therefore, his spiritual activities, as it says, destroys the effects of previous karma of happiness and distress. So take the devotional service. But still, we still have a residue of karma, which is still there because we haven't really dedicated ourselves to the process of devotional service. So when are you going to get initiated? What are you waiting for?
Haribol! Can't wait, can't wait.
Haribol.
Yeah.
And then you can start, initiation means beginning. That's what Prabhupada said. We're practicing to begin. So you're still dealing with your previous karma. But
Guru
once
Maharaj, you're going to Ujjain in February, right?
Huh?
You're going to Ujjain in February or March, isn't that right?
February 1st.
Oh, hint, Sakshi.
And you can take Dikshya initiation from Sri Devi. She'll give you a nice name. She'll call you Shakshi Lakshmi.
Please, Guru Maharaj, don't curse me like this. Such Guru Aparad, my God, Krishna, please. No, Guru Maharaj. I must have exceedingly displeased you today. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
I still have your little pet turtle here. She gave me a turtle. Not a real one. It's kind of like, it's a little toy. It reminds me of her every time I see it. Because it just shakes all over. It just
And it just stays in one place. It doesn't move. It just keeps shaking and doesn't do a thing else. That's big.
But then I realized you're dancing, so I thought, oh, the turtle is dancing. That must be Kirtan. Srimati, you better get us out of this particular.
I can't stop laughing.
Sri Devi is wonderful because you can say anything and she has no false ego. Somebody who has a false ego will start defending themselves. Prabhupada said one of the qualities of a Vaishnava is to be able to laugh at yourself. People I think I'm so great. Then you realize I'm not so great.
Sri Devi Mataji always inspires everyone. Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. She's good.
Yeah. Thank you,
So the
Maharaj.
devotees are very lovable. Yeah, because they're devotees. Devotees will do anything for another devotee, or even for people in general. Ask a devotee to do something, and on a personal level, they can't wait. They're so happy. That's a devotee.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm going to Mayapur. I don't have any place to stay. Sri Devi's given me an apartment to stay in. I'm
Sure.
gonna put turtles all over the apartment. So I'm so grateful. I mean, I don't have a good residence when I go to Mayapur. It's really hard because everything's so packed up there. It's hard to find any place. So she volunteered to go outside, pitch a tent, and live out in the wilderness. But I told her I'd bring her prasadam every day. So
Guru Maharaj, I'm so grateful that your divine lotus feet are going to enter my humble abode. I am the one who is grateful, Guru Maharaj.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any last minute questions or comments? Maharaj,
Yes.
do you have any questions? So, do you have time to chant a little bit, Guru Maharaj?
Not really, because time is a little short.
Okay, Maharaj.
But go ahead, and please don't let me influence it. But go ahead and begin your japa session.
Sure.
And tomorrow's Wednesday, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll be in a different place, but I think I'll be able to be there for the class.
Yes,
I'm
Maharaj.
pretty sure, 100%. Tomorrow is Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Tomorrow,
Maharaj.
if you want, I can speak about Lord Jesus Christ tomorrow.
Yes, Maharaj. That would be great. Yeah.
I like to because Prabhupada spoke about Christianity 900 different statements.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yes.
And he said, Christ is our guru. He said that.
Hmm.
And he's not making some nice statement. He gave his life, at least, apparently, to propagate religious principles.
Yes, Maharaj.
So yeah, I can give a class. In fact, it's been a few years since I've spoken on Christ on Christmas. So remind me tomorrow,
Yes, Maharaj.
and we'll do it if you
Sure.
like.
Yes,
You
Maharaj. We
can see most amazing qualities of Christ and how he dealt with all of the attacks upon him.
Yes, Maharaj. Devotees are eager to hear from you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Maharaj, for your time and association and such a wonderful discussion. Thank you, dear devotees. We'll all see you again tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila
Thank-
Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Zorinus Chandramauli Maharaj ki jai. Thank you
Jai.
so much. Hare
Thank you, Guru
Yeah.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Lord Premanande, Hari Hari.
Guru Maharaj, Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru
Yeah,
Maharaj. Hare
Prabhupada
Krishna.
ki jai. So please have your japa session, and we'll
Yes,
see you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Haribol.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Dear devotees,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, if anybody wants to stay on for japa, please stay on. We'll do some chanting.
Sorry, Mataji, I have to leave.
Sure, Mataji. No problem.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Devi, save some turtles, some turtles for us.
It is actually devotee's gift to me. Guru Maharaj said, you went to Kurmagram. What did you get for me? I didn't know what to say. So I just gave that gift.